Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we are discussing the last topics of chemistry in everyday life. In those things, now we are going to discuss about chemicals in our food. Chemicals in our food. Different types of chemicals are added to our food to add the appeal to our food, to give some flavor to our food, to give some sweetening agent to our food, to preserve the food. Different kind of chemicals are added to our food. Appealing means attraction. So when we look at the sweets in sweet shop, they are going to add some dark colors. These dark colors are easily attracted by our brain. So we are appealing towards that colors. So to give good appeal, to preserve the food as an emulsifiers, as an preservatives, different kinds of chemicals are using in our food. So these chemicals, some of the chemicals will give you color to the food, some of the chemicals will preserve the food, some of the chemicals are added as an emulsifiers to the food. Emulsifiers means which dissolves the fat and stabilizes the fat and other substances. So for example, in ice creams, emulsifiers are added. If emulsifiers are not added, then cream and milk is going to separate out during the formation of the ice creams. Sweetening agents, these sweetening agents are used to produce sweetness to the food. Antioxidants, these antioxidants are used to preserve the food. Like this, different kinds of chemicals are added in our food daily life. So some of the chemicals now we are going to discuss, and those things. The first one is artificial sweetening agents. Artificial sweetening agents. Artificial sweetening agents are the chemicals which produces sweetening effect to our food and does not carry any kind of calorific values. These chemicals does not provide any kind of calorific values, does not provide any kind of energy. They will not give you energy but produces sweetening effect to the food. Suppose you take sucrose, means sugar. If you take sugar, what happens? It provides the sweetening effect and it gives calorific value. If you take the sugar, you are giving more amount of glucose to body. When you are giving more amount of glucose to body, what happens? The excess of glucose is converted into fat. So if you take sugar excessively, your weight is going to increase. But these artificial sweetening agents does not give any calorific value but produces a sweetening effect. So artificial sweetening agents are the chemicals which produces sweetening effect without giving any kind of calorific value. Some of the artificial sweetening agents are saccharin. This saccharin is nearly 550 times more sweeter than sugar. This saccharin is nearly 550 times more sweeter than sugar. Sucralose. And this one is the sucralose have the similar structure as that of sucrose. Sucralose have the similar structure as that of sucrose. The sucralose also contains pyranose ring and furanose ring like in sugar. Sucrose structure and sucralose structure are nearly same. Sucrose contains a pyranose ring and an furanose ring. Similarly, sucralose also contains the pyranose ring and furanose ring, but small changes are present. Sucrose provides energy to our body. Sucralose does not provide any energy to the body. This sucralose is 600 times more sweeter than sugar. Sucralose is 600 times more sweeter than sugar. Does not give any caloric value. Hence, this sucralose is used for diabetic patients to give some sweetening effect without even giving the calorific values. In 20-30 years before, the saccharin also used to provide sweetening effect. The saccharin even nowadays also saccharin is used. Saccharin using in coffee and teas by diabetes patients. Sucralose also can be used for diabetic patients to get some sweetening effect without giving calorific values. Similarly, another sweetening agent is allicin. This allicin is nearly 2000 times more sweeter than sugar, sucrose. Allicin is 2000 times more sweeter than sucrose. Another sweetening agent is aspartame. This aspartame is 100 times more sweeter than sugar. 100 times more sweeter than sugar. This aspartame is the mixture of phenylalanine, aspartame is the mixture of phenylalanine and aspartic acid. Phenylalanine and aspartic acid. Aspartame is an artificial sweetening agent which is the mixture of phenylalanine and aspartic acid, which is nearly 100 times more sweeter than sugar. Another sweetening agent is L-glucose. L-glucose. Generally, if you take D-glucose, it will synthesize by our body. It will digest by our body and provide calorific value. When we take D-glucose, or you can in advertisement they are saying glucon-D. What it refers, they are saying indirectly is a D-glucose. When you take D-glucose, it provides calorific value to our body. So when it is giving calorific value, if you take more amount of that glucose, it becomes slowly into fat. Similarly, its isomer is the L-glucose. Our body is not going to digest this L-glucose. L-glucose does not provide any calorific value. L-glucose does not provide any calorific value to our body, but D-glucose will provide a calorific but does not give energy. Here glucose have sweetening effect but does not give calorific value. Okay, all these are the artificial sweetening agents. So saccharin is a sweetening agent, artificial sweetening agent, which is 550 times more sweeter than sugar. Sucralose also is an artificial sweetening agent, which is 600 times more sweeter than sugar. Aspartame also is an artificial sweetening agent, which is nearly 2000 times more sweeter than sugar. Aspartame is an artificial sweetening agent, which is 100 times more sweeter than sugar. This aspartame is the methyl ester of phenylalanine and aspartic acid. Phenylalanine and aspartic acid. These two are the amino acids. These two are the amino acids. And one of the important point about this aspartame is this aspartame is only used in cold substances, in cool drinks, all those things. This aspartame is used because at higher temperatures aspartame undergoes dissociation. So for cool substances aspartame is used. The sucralose is not, sucralose can also be used at higher temperatures also. So which does not going to dissociate. So these are about artificial sweetening agents. Our next topic is food preservatives. These food preservatives are used to stop the growth of microorganisms in our body. To store the food preservatives are added. Some of the food preservatives are vegetable oils. In pickle we use vegetable oils, table salt, citric acid, sodium benzoate, these are the some of the food preservatives. All these food preservatives are used for the storage of food materials. We know that in pickles, which thing we generally use vegetable oils, table salt, and citric acid, and another vinegar. Dilute acetic acid is called vinegar. Dilute acetic acid is vinegar. Dilute, very dilute acetic acid is vinegar. Vinegar also is used as an food preservative. Along with that one, sodium benzoate also is used as a preservative. Generally, this sodium benzoate is used as a preservative for potato chips, all those things. Another preservative is sodium parasulfate. This sodium parasulfate is especially used in jams and in pickles, which gives sulfur dioxide slowly, which converted into sulfurous acid. That sulfurous acid is going to kill the microorganisms. So sodium persulfate is used in jams and in pickles, which slowly releases the sulfur dioxide gas, which converts into sulfurous acid, which kills the microorganisms. If any microorganisms are developing, they are going to killed by this sulfurous acid. Okay, very minor quantities of sulfurous acid is releases, which does not affect our system. Some of other food preservatives are salts of sorbic acid, salts of propionic acid, and para-hydroxybenzoic acid also used as a preservatives for packing biscuits, these kurkures, potato chips, tomato chips. All these things contain sodium benzoate and sorbic acid, salts of sorbic acid, sodium salt of sorbic acid, and sodium salt of propionic acid are all used as a food preservatives. Sodium salt of sorbic acid and sodium salt of propionic acid. All these things are the food preservatives. Para-hydroxybenzoic acid, all these are the food preservatives. So what for these food preservatives are used? To store the food materials, food preservatives are used. Some of the food preservatives are vegetable oils, sodium chloride, citric acid, vinegar, sodium benzoate, salts of sorbic acid, salts of propionic acid, sodium persulfate. All these are the food preservatives. Especially this thing is used in jams and in pickles. It releases slowly sulfur dioxide gas. And another topic is antioxidants. Other topic is antioxidants. So antioxidants are the chemicals which stops the oxidation of food materials, These antioxidants chemicals undergoes oxidation more speedily than the food materials, than the substances. So these antioxidants, example for these antioxidants are BHA and BHT. BHA and BHT. BHA means butylated hydroxyanisole. Butylated hydroxyanisole. BHT means butylated hydroxytoluene. And another antioxidant is sulfur dioxide and sulfides. This sulfur dioxide generally used in cool drinks to preserve the cool drinks, cheeses, wine, beer. All those things are preserved by using this sulfur dioxide gas and sulfide ions. These are the strong oxidizing agents than the food itself. So these things involve oxidation, preserving the food materials. So before packing the food materials, before packing the potato chips, before packing the junk food, what they do is that pack is filled with sulfur dioxide gas. A small amount of sulfur dioxide gas. This small amount of sulfur dioxide takes the oxygen present in the and prevents the food materials to undergo in oxidation process. So food materials remains unaffected. This sulfur dioxide undergoes the oxidation process. So this is about antioxidants. All these things are used as an antioxidants to prevent the oxidation of food materials. These substances involved in oxidation process generally used in wines, cool drinks, beer, biscuits. These two things are used in biscuits. All those things, biscuits, chocolate, all those things contain the BHA and BHT. That sulfur dioxide, sulfide ions are present in wine, beer, cool drinks, all those things. These things also used to preserve peeled food materials and dried fruits also. Peeled food materials and dried fruits. Dried meat are also preserved by using these antioxidating agents. If you are not using these antioxidating agents, what happens? Those substances undergoes oxidation by the development of microorganisms. So this is about antioxidants. Next our topic is soaps. So now next our topic is cleaning agents. So what are these cleaning agents? Cleaning agents are the chemicals which helps the cleaning action of water. These cleaning agents forms emulsions with the water. These cleaning agents prevents the sticking of grease and oils to the fabric. Some of the cleaning agents are soaps. So what are these soaps? How they are manufactured? Soaps are the sodium salts of fatty acids. Soaps are the sodium salts of fatty acids. And bathing soap is manufactured. Bathing soap, maybe you know the different types of soaps, like you know the laundry soaps, you know the bathing soaps. These bathing soaps, in the manufacturing of bathing soaps, and good higher fatty acids are used. These higher fatty acids, some of the examples for higher fatty acids are lauric acid. Its formula is C11H23COOH. Muriatic acid, its formula is C13H27COOH. Stearic acid, its formula is C17H35COOH. These are so many higher fatty acids are there. I am showing you 3 higher fatty acids. Their salts behaves as soaps. So this is a higher triesters of a fatty acid. These 3 ester groups are there. This is higher triester. More number of a long carbon chain is there. This is higher triester. When these higher triesters are reacted with bases, Then we will get glycerol and soap. Look at here, the bond is breaking at this place. So this one CH2, OH, CH, OH, CH2, OH. The H comes from here. The remaining part C17, H35, COO, NA. C17, H35, COO, NA. This is soap. Simply we can say sodium sulfate fatty acid. This is stearic acid. Stearic acid is stearic acid salt. So this is sodium stearate, which is a soap. We know different types of soaps are there. We have different types of soaps are there. We will discuss some of the soaps. Soaps generally used for cleaning action. It supports the cleaning action of water. It reduces the surface tension of water. Soaps decreases the surface tension of water. Soaps forms emulsion with water and with oils. Soaps form emulsions with water and oils. So this is about soap action. Now we are going to discussing about different types of soaps. One is floating soaps. These floating soaps are manufactured by inserting the air bubbles into the soap during the hardness process, during the hardening process of the soap. By bubbling air bubbles in the soap solution during the hardening process of soap, we will get this floating soaps. Next one, transparent soaps. Transparent soaps. These transparent soaps are obtained by dissolving the soap into ethyl alcohol and by evaporating excess of alcohols. Transparent soaps are obtained by dissolving the soap into ethyl alcohol and evaporating the excess of alcohols. These are the transparent soaps. Medicated soaps. So you know transparent soaps like Pierce, that's Santo transparent soap. All these are the manufactured. They said you think that they are the glycerin soap, but actually transparent soaps are manufactured by dissolving the soap in ethyl alcohol and by evaporating excess of ethyl alcohol. So you will get the transparent soap. Medicated soaps. So medicating Dettol, all those things are the medicated soaps. So these medicated soaps are manufactured by adding certain chemicals which are having the medicinal properties. Then we will get the medicated soaps. Just to the soap they are adding some extra chemicals which have the medicinal properties. Next one, another type of soaps are shaving creams. These shaving creams contains some excess amount of glycerin which prevents the rapid evaporation of rapid drying of foam. Shaving creams contains some more amount of glycerin which prevents the rapid drying of foam. It also contains sodium salt of rosinate, sodium salt of rosinate, which produces leather easily. This is the chemical. This is a gum. It is a gum. The gum name is rosin. Sodium salt of that rosin produces foam easily. So that shaving cream also contains sodium salt of rosin, which produces foam easily. Next another type of soaps are laundry soaps. Generally, these laundry soaps contains sodium rosinate. Laundry soaps contains soap plus sodium rosinate sodium silicate borax and sodium carbonate. Laundry soaps contains soap and sodium rosinate. Laundry soaps produces leather easily. So it contains soap and sodium rosinate. It also contains sodium silicate and borax and sodium carbonate. This borax and sodium carbonate generally used as builders. So to make them somewhat hard, these builders are used. So borax, sodium carbonate, sodium phosphate are the builders. So this is about laundry soaps. Next, soap powders. These soap powders contains soap powder, soap plus fine powder of pumice stone, fine sand materials, sodium carbonate, sodium phosphate. These two are as builders. This is soap powder. Soap powder contains soap, fine powder of pumice stone, fine sand powder, sodium carbonate and sodium phosphate. The sodium carbonate and sodium phosphate behaves as the builders for the soap powders. All these soaps are biodegradable. Soaps are biodegradable. So soaps does not produces any kind of pollution. These soaps are long-standing, dissociates to carbon dioxide. So this is about different types of soaps. Once again I will tell you. Soaps are sodium salts of fatty acids. Generally these soaps are prepared by the alkaline hydrolysis of higher triesters. Alkaline hydrolysis of higher triesters. So triester, alkaline hydrolysis, dissociation. So alkaline hydrolysis of higher esters on dissociation, you will get the soap. These soaps make an emulsion with water and dirt. Soap decreases the surface tension of water. Different types of soaps are there. Floating soaps. Floating soaps are manufactured by bubbling air bubbles into the soap solution during the hardening stage of the soap. Transparent soaps. These are prepared by dissolving the soap in ethyl alcohol and evaporating the excess of soap. Medicated soaps. These are manufactured by adding some medicinal property containing chemicals. Shaving creams. Shaving creams contains somewhat more amount of glycerin, which prevents the rapid drying of foam. It also contains a gum called rosin. This rosin produces excess of leather. Next, laundry soaps. This laundry soaps is the laundry soaps are manufactured. Laundry soaps contains soap, sodium glucinate, sodium silicate, borax, and sodium carbonate. Soap powders. Soap powders also contains soap, bromide stones, fine sand powder, sodium carbonate, and sodium phosphate. This sodium carbonate and sodium phosphate behaves as an builders for these soaps. So this is about different kinds of soaps. Next our topic is synthetic detergents. So our last topic in this chapter is synthetic detergents. What are these synthetic detergents? Synthetic detergents are the chemicals which shows all soap properties, which shows the cleaning action, which gives the cleaning action without containing soap. It does not contain soap, but it is used for cleaning action. Such kind of things are known as the synthetic detergents. They show cleaning action but does not contain soap. These synthetic detergents are of three types: anionic detergents, cationic detergents, non-ionic detergents. Anionic detergents. These anionic detergents are sodium salt of long chain sulfonated alcohols. These anionic detergents are sodium salt of long chain sulfonated alcohols. Sodium salts of long chain sulfonated alcohols. This is long chain sulfonated alcohol. This is long chain sulfonated alcohol. When this one is become a salt by heating with the base, then it becomes sodium salt of long chain sulfonated alcohol. In this part, the negative part done the soaping and done the cleaning action. The negative part do the cleaning action. The negative part, this part will do the cleaning action. Its name is sodium dodecyl benzene sulfonate. So detergents in which negative part doing the cleaning action are known as the anionic detergents. Generally these anionic detergents are sodium salts of long chain sulfonated alcohols. You have to remember this point, that's it. Negative part will do the cleaning action. Example is sodium dodecyl sulfonate, benzene sulfonate. Generally, these are sodium sulfur of long chain sulfonated alcohols. That's it. Next, cationic detergents. These cationic detergents, in these cationic detergents, cationic part will do the cleaning action. This cationic part contains quaternary ammonium. This cationic detergent is quaternary ammonium salt. Cationic detergents are quaternary ammonium salt with acetate ions or with chloride ions or with bromide ions. So this is quaternary ammonium salt. Another cationic detergents are benzalkonium chloride. Benzalkonium chloride. Non-ionic detergents. These non-ionic detergents does not contain any ionic part. Generally, these non-ionic detergents are esters of stearic acid and polyethylene glycol. Non-ionic detergents are esters of stearic acid and polyethylene glycol. So these are the esters of stearic acid C17H35COO, COOH, and ethylene glycol CH2OH, CH2OH. When these two combine, you will get an ester. Those esters behave as non-ionic detergents. Example for these non-ionic detergents are lauryl alcohol ethoxylate. Its name is lauryl alcohol ethoxylate. Generally, these non-ionic detergents are used as dishwashers. You know the liquid Vim dishwasher soaps, all dishwashers liquids, all those are made with non-ionic detergents. These synthetic detergents will provide more amount of foam and do the more cleaning action. Synthetic detergents, if contains only the straight chain, they become biodegradable. Long chain containing synthetic detergents are biodegradable. Branched chain having synthetic detergents are non-biodegradable. Long chain synthetic detergents are biodegradable. Branched chains having synthetic detergents are non-biodegradable. So this is about chemistry in everyday life. The main thing about this chapter is you have to remember the definition and example for each and everything. Definition, example. And once they are asked about the artificial sweetening agent, about the structure. So you have to remember somewhat. There is no need for looking the complete structure. You have to remember the basic structure of this artificial sweetening agent, all those things. In every exam, they are giving at least one question in every this competitive exam. They are giving at least one question from this chemistry in everyday life. Okay, students, this is ending here. Thank you.